And good evening, everyone, and welcome to our East Brunswick Township Council meeting for October 23rd, 2023. Will everyone please rise as we salute the flag of our nation? Remain standing for a moment of personal reflection. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It's all good. Thank you. Township Clerk, Ms. Lawful, will you please call roll and read our statement of adequate notice?
Councilman Bahal?
Here.
Councilman Wendell?
Here.
Councilwoman Winston?
Here.
Councilwoman Zembicki?
Here.
Council President McAvoy?
Here.
Also present, Mayor Brad Cohen?
Here.
Administrator Joseph Cusculo?
Here.
And Township Attorney Michael Baker.
Here.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as required under Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, by specifying the time, date, location, and to the extent known, the agenda, by posting a copy on the bulletin board located in the main lobby of the East Brunswick Municipal Building, providing a copy to the Home News Tribune and Sentinel newspapers, posting a copy on the Township's website, and by filing a copy in the office of the Township Clerk, which will be entered into the minutes.
Thank you. Before we start our meeting, I want to recognize we have 6, 7, maybe 8 students from Rutgers University who have a tradition of coming to East Brunswick to witness government in action. For 25 years plus, Mr. Jim White sat where Mr. Crisculo sits. Now he's a professor at Rutgers University, and he sends his students to the East Brunswick Municipal Building for one meeting a year, and so we welcome them. We have a motion for resolution number 23-291, adopting our meeting minutes from October 9th, 2023.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Second.
Are there any points of clarification that need to be addressed? We have a few proclamations. I beg your pardon. Roll call.
Councilman Bahal?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zembicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy?
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. We have a few proclamations from the mayor's office. First up will be a proclamation proclaiming October the Alpha Delta Kappa month. Councilwoman Zembicki, will you kindly address the matter? And when you're finished with the entire presentation, can we take a photo op?
Love it. Thank you. I'm honored. So whereas Alpha Delta Kappa, an international organization for women educators, all members strive to promote excellence in education, strengthen the status and advancement of the teaching profession, so important right now, serve the educational community, and provide a desirable, healthy, intelligent image of concerned, caring educators. And whereas women in education contribute a great portion of the nation's working force and are constantly striving to serve their communities and nation in educational, cultural, and charitable programs leading to harmony, happiness, and peace among all people. And whereas the major goals of Alpha Delta Kappa International Honorary Organization for Women's Educators are to give recognition to outstanding educators, to build a fraternal fellowship among educators, adding to their effectiveness in promoting excellence in education, to establish high standards of education, and to promote educational and charitable projects and activities, enriching the lives of individuals everywhere and assisting these into happy, constructive, and fulfilling lives. Now, therefore, it be proclaimed that Brad J. Cohen, Mayor of the Township of East Brunswick, commend the Kappa chapter for their community service and do hereby proclaim the month of October 2023 Alpha Delta Kappa Month in the Township of East Brunswick, and urge all residents to support the efforts of our educators. And if I could just say one thing. So this organization is absolutely phenomenal, and I am urging everyone to support their cause on April 14th, 2024, at the Applebee's as they do their breakfast from 8 to 10. I know many of us were there last year, and you had a great turnout, and we hope for even a better turnout this year. So congratulations and thank you from the bottom of my heart as a fellow educator. Thank you.
Can we get all of the members up in front of the dais here so we can get a photo op? Council, please. Please, interlocking. Council membership is second order to. Please.
It's good to be tall.
It helps me. We'll do the same Next, we have a proclamation, again recognizing our Sustainability Task Force. Councilwoman Winston, will you kindly address the matter?
It is my privilege.
And when you're finished,
Thank you,
we'll do a photo op as well.
Whereas the Township of East Brunswick recognizes the leadership of the Environmental Commission, the Sustainability Task Force, Friends of the Environmental Commission, East Brunswick Hadassah, and Alpha Delta Kappa, who are active leaders in the following movements: getting past plastic, accountability and sustainability, and all goals for recycling, reusing, and refusing plastic. And whereas the Township of East Brunswick agrees to work together with the task force partners to educate and help solve the difficult problems facing a disposable culture caused by excessive single-use and end-use plastic, a growing landfill, and climate change. And whereas the Township of East Brunswick supports the task force action plans, letter writing to government, industry, and commercial entities to advertise the advantages of opting out of use of unwanted plastic wrapped mailers, refusing plastic bottles, straws, and bags, encouraging even greater township recycling, free cycling, and TerraCycling, continuing the reduction of waste in school cafeterias, and asking town residents to refuse plastic cutlery, styrofoam, and condiments not needed in takeout orders so they are part of the solution. And whereas the Township of East Brunswick takes pride in advancing the nation's future in sustainability by welcoming 2 high school student authors, 2 junior high school students, and 1 Rutgers PhD expert into our multi-generational task force, creating a district-wide salvage art sculpture contest, creating a change-making town by empowering the next generation to continue striving to ensure that future generations have a planet that they can continue to live and heal. Now therefore be it proclaimed that I, Brad J. Cohen, Mayor of the Township of East Brunswick, along with the Township Council, do hereby respect and admire the efforts of the task force partners and look forward to their continued success. Thank you so much for all you do.
Thank you. On behalf of the East Brunswick chapter of Hadassah, which is the largest women's group in the world, our own Alpha Delta Kappa, the international group of educated women, in conjunction with the town's East Brunswick Sustainability Task Force. This is a wonderful honor, and we are all honored to accept this proclamation for our partnership in getting past plastics one bottle at a time and in reducing waste via education and action. Upcoming events are going to include a reduction in food waste, a forum on composting, a tour of the landfill, and ongoing reduction in plastic utensils and condiments in our town's restaurants. Never doubt that a small group of committed, educated women can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. Thank you. I'm inviting now the scouts that help us on the task force, Hadassah, and our sisters in Alpha Delta Kappa to come for a photo.
Sure.
Just on behalf of the scouting organizations in East Brunswick and beyond, these are the children, these are the future, and it is the responsibility of the adults to maintain a society where the children have hope, have the biodiversity, and have the unpolluted territories they need to survive. Thank you.
The picture will be on the Township Facebook page tomorrow, so if you don't get a picture right now, you could like us and you can get all the pictures. Say cheese.
Kev?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I don't think that bothers George. We have a discussion item regarding our best practices inventory. Mr. Crisculo, our business administrator, and our attorney, Mr. Baker, will address the issue. Mr. Crisculo, you have the floor.
Yes, once a year for the last, probably 20 years, the state of New Jersey requires municipalities to complete what's known as the best practices inventory. It's somewhat of a survey slash things that you need to be doing to get your state aid. So for years, the municipality has always scored favorably and has gotten their state aid. So part of the requirement is to have a discussion or to be mentioned at a governing body meeting. There's no resolution that needs to be passed or anything. The finance office works with me to complete it. It is then signed by Angel as the finance officer, signed by myself as the chief operating officer, and then Tamar certifies it as the municipal clerk and submits it to the Department of Community Affairs. So this is a yearly exercise that we go through. Every year, they put some additional questions on there, as Mr. Baker's nodding his head. But a lot of the questions have no point value. So they're just trying to do basically a survey of the 500-plus municipalities in the state of New Jersey. It has been completed, submitted. It was in your package. We scored more points than we did last year. And we'll continue to work with the DCA in meeting our obligations, as always. I don't know if Michael has anything to add.
You covered it all, Joe.
So it's in your package. It has to be brought up. It is brought up, so we are able to meet that requirement that it was brought up at a meeting, and you were provided copies.
Thank you. Looking for, I know, I'm looking for where I wrote down, we have a proclamation, a resolution from the council that I would like the mayor to read with regard to one of our more esteemed, maybe most esteemed workers who have survived many years here in East Brunswick, Mr. George Smith. Mayor Cohn?
Thank you, Council President. It's an honor. I'd like to read the resolution into the minutes, and that is, whereas George Smith submitted written notification to the Township of East Brunswick that he will retire from the water utility effective December 1st, 2023. And whereas on March 21st, 1988, George began his career with the Township of East Brunswick as the system operator for the Water Production Division. On September 8th of 1997, he assumed the position of Water Utility Service Worker 2 for the Water Maintenance Division, and then later assumed the position of Water Utility Coordinator on March 19th, 2002. He became the Water Production Coordinator in March of 2007, and then promoted to the Water Production Superintendent on August 17th of 2015, a position from which he retires effective December 1st of this year. Whereas throughout his 35 years of service to the township, he has demonstrated exemplary characteristics to the Township of East Brunswick through his work ethic, dedication, leadership, team spirit, and enthusiasm for his duties. Be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of East Brunswick that George Smith's retirement is hereby accepted with an effective date of December 1st, 2023. And be it further resolved by the Mayor and the Township Council of the Township of East Brunswick that they hereby extend their sincere and grateful appreciation to George Smith for his 35 years of dedication and outstanding service to the Township of East Brunswick, congratulate him on his well-earned retirement, and wish him happiness and good health in the years to come. I'd like to also add for a second that for each one of us who hold up a glass of water daily here in the township, you need to give a hearty thank you to George and that department to make sure that that water is safe and in a format that nobody in this town ever has to worry about the quality and the safety of the water that they're receiving here. There's not always something that you could take for granted. In many parts of even this country, you can't take that for granted. The requirements have gotten even greater over time. I know years ago people worried about lead. We still worry about lead. People worry about a lot of other products. We've had healthy discussions over fluoride. PFOAs is now the newest topic. But the reality is that every bit of testing, every bit of water quality, which we are required and yearly give to the residents of East Brunswick, they need never have to worry about the quality and the safety of their water here because it was done under the tutelage of somebody who is so specific and committed to making sure that we uphold those standards. So again, another healthy applause to somebody who has given his entire career to this township, and job well done, George.
It was a true resolution in governance. So in true commencement of government, all those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, the ayes have it. Congratulations, George. Photo.
For the bishop. Good job.
Council.
35 years. Amazing.
Mr. Baker, I think you were a councilman when George was on this.
I had just left the council.
Well, you're out of the picture. Thank you very much, George.
I was actually doing the math.
Yeah. Council President, if I may just,
Please.
having known George since the late 80s, his dedication to the town is far beyond the reaches of the water utility. He's been a valued firefighter with the Old Bridge District 1 Fire Department for longer than I can remember. And that's where I met George, when I was on Brookview and he was on the Old Bridge Fire Department. So, I mean, he and his family are dedicated East Brunswick residents, and they're all over town. So, thanks, George.
Thank you, George.
Yeah, I'll just add this, George. We've spoken about this. Everything that George does is under the surface, for the most part. And we're going to miss him so deeply. And that's why I know darn well that the communication line, even though we did an aye, I don't think we need a resolution. Oh, on George? Well, same thing with governance on George's resolution. We just, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we still don't, motion,
Motion to adopt.
second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. It's all legal now, George. Okay.
Boucher would be very proud.
Well, so with regard to the pre-qualification for prospective bidders for the construction of the municipal ice skating facility, Township Clerk, will you please read the announcement? No?
Council
Oh,
President.
that has been pulled?
Yeah, that one, if you'll, I'll explain. If there's anyone here for that hearing, you'll need to come back on November 13th for the next meeting. That's the date of the hearing.
I beg your pardon, fellow council. I did not know that was pulled. Let's move on to our report section. Mayor Cohn?
Thank you, Council President. Two announcements. One, I first personally want to thank everybody who was involved in putting together the Mayor's Gala, which was last week. All those who attended. It was a record turnout and sellout crowd, which actually we sold out well before the event. So it really was a testament to a lot of different groups. It was a great cross-section of the community, all providing their support for a cause that really is to help residents in the township who, for whatever reason, fall under the radar, whether it's not being able to participate in a sporting event because they don't have the funds to be able to get the equipment, to someone who may have temporarily been out of work and needs some help to get by, whether it's rent or housing needs. We just feel that as a community, that's our job, is to try to pull together for each other and make sure that nobody is left behind, and do it in a way that preserves individual's dignity, and so the world doesn't need to know who they are. That's what the charity does, even though it bears my name. I'm not involved in the trustees. I don't make the decisions. I don't know who the people are, but it is my honor to have my name on it so that we can rally together as a community to help those in need. My understanding is it looks like they raised about $140,000 this year, so that's really very, very, very nice. The other thing that I wanted to bring out, in light of events that we all know are going on across the world right now, specifically those in the Middle East, our job here in the township is to, my job, our council's job, our public safety job, is to ensure the safety of everybody that lives here. Regardless of what your position may be, that is irrelevant. We are a diverse community of people who have always managed to figure out how to get along, and regardless of that, I will not tolerate anybody who is aggressive in terms of intimidation, bullying, targeting of any groups. That's our job, is to ensure that everybody lives here without that fear. If anything like that does to occur, it should be reported immediately to public safety, and we take all of those very, very seriously. But I just feel that it's important that we raise that right now while there's communities that are feeling particularly targeted, whether that's the Jewish community, or I don't want anything in return, as we saw post 9/11, to the Muslim community either. This is not who we are here, and I don't want anybody to feel that they are targeted and that they are unsafe. Any suspicious activity, anything such as that should be reported, and we will take all of that seriously. But I think as a township, we're better than that, and we need to display that to each other at a time when there are portions of the community that feel vulnerable. So with that, I'm going to turn that back to Council President.
Our Business Administrator, Mr. Crisculo.
Yes, just one item for this evening, and we're going to be announcing this at every meeting. Councilwoman Winston mentioned this at the last meeting. We are in the midst of having our water meters replaced with new electronic water meters. I was hoping to have it done by the time George left, but that doesn't look like it's going to happen. It is imperative that every resident that hasn't had their water meter changed call and schedule a date to have their meter changed. So they can call 1-888-448-0009, and somebody will help them with that, or they can go to www.nmsnj.com, and they can pick a date where they'll come and change the meter. It's pretty painless. They unscrew one, they put the other one in. Don't believe me, you can ask George for the next 30 days. But we need to get this project moving along. It's imperative that we get to the point where we can read the meters without having people going around to read all the meters and so on. And it's really holding up the project at this particular point. We were hoping to have everything completed by now, and we're about 75% done. So if you think we got 18,000 residents, that's still a lot of people. So every council meeting, we're going to keep putting that out there and ask the residents to please have their meter replaced. That's all, sir.
Crisculo, will that be posted on EBTV 26?
It's been on EBTV
been on, okay.
for over a year.
Okay.
There's been multiple notices sent to people. We're going to be sending out the final notice, and then we'll have to figure out what we're going to do with those outliers that don't comply.
Got it. Our Township Attorney, Mr. Baker.
Thank you, Council President. I only have one item. I'm going to ask that the council pull from the consent agenda Resolution 23-301. That was a resolution requesting approval for fireworks display on November 4th at 7 p.m. and with a rain date on November 5. I'm recommending we pull it and not approve it because at 7 o'clock, there's still going to be early voting going on in the Community Arts Center, and you can't very well have fireworks going off and explosions when people are coming in to vote early. And also, the rain date of Sunday evening is night before school. And if the council will recall, you adopted a fireworks ordinance that says you cannot have fireworks the night before a school day. So for those reasons, I'm asking it be pulled from the agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Baker. Our Township Clerk, Ms. Lawful.
Hey, I would like to congratulate George Smith on his retirement. I wish you all the best. In respect to the general election, early voting begins at the Community Arts Center this Saturday, October 28th, and will continue until Sunday, November 5th. The polls will be open from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Saturday, and from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Sundays. The general election will be held on Tuesday, November 7th. All polls will be open from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. For those who have received their mail-in ballots, as a friendly reminder, there are 3 ways to return your ballot. You can submit it via the U.S. Postal Service. You can also drop it off at the Board of Election, which is now located at 26B Kennedy Boulevard. Or you can drop it off at the ballot drop box conveniently located within our municipal complex by our municipal court and our police station. Thank you.
Any reports from council? Councilwoman Zambecki?
Yep. Thank you so much. This Sunday from 12 to 3 is our first annual Halloween Family Fun Fest at Crystal Springs parking lot. There are 3 different activities, a trunk or treat, an arts and crafts, and a haunted walk around Dallenbach's. The cost is $5 per activity, and all the proceeds benefit Daisy Recreation and East Brunswick Youth Council. And if you are willing to participate as a trunker and give out candy, you can register online going to the Township Rec spot. Also, the Arts Commission is holding a Violin on Fire, Gypsy, Folk, and Classical Music this Friday at 7 o'clock at the Community Arts Center, so come out and join us. It's sure to be a wonderful event. Youth Girls Field Hockey Free Clinic is taking place 3 consecutive Sundays, November 4th through the 18th, from 10 to 11:30 at Heavenly Farms, and the clinic is run by Coach Todoroff, and it's for girls in grades 5 through 8. The registration links are on the website. Youth Council Veterans Day Pickleball Fundraiser is going to be held Thursday, November 9th, from 11:30 to 1:30 at the Community Park Pickleball Courts. 50% of all the money raised will go to the East Brunswick Veterans Alliance Fund. And right after that, on November 11th, for Veterans Day, we would like you to join us on Saturday, that day, at the Veterans Park in the Municipal Complex at 6 o'clock to honor our veterans. And save the date for our Winter Wonderland on Sunday, December 3rd. Again, this is going to be something new and different. It's an all-day event from 11:30 to 6. There's going to be music and dancers, carolers, cookies, claws, seasonal children and family photos, an ugly sweater contest, kids' crafts, food trucks, and a giving tree, and lots and lots and lots of s'mores. So please join us. And this sounds a little odd, but summer hiring has begun. We are hiring for the summer. So if you are interested for our Daisy Day Camp and Crystal Springs, please go online and apply. It's a great opportunity for summer employment, and it's also an awesome experience and a great resume builder, by the way. So please consider joining us for the summer. And East Brunswick Wrestling Club is starting their registration for this season. For grades K to 8, you can also go online, ebwrestling.com, to register. And East Brunswick Blackhawks Girls Lacrosse will be holding its annual Winter 2024 clinic from January 7th to February 25th for girls in grades 3 through 12, and you can visit their Blackhawks Girls Lacrosse page to register. And in closing, I understand that our township clerk is going to have a very happy birthday coming up. So the council and the mayor would like to wish you a very happy birthday.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And for all of the Rutgers students in the audience, Crystal Springs is our state-of-the-art water park. And if you're looking for that job where you're going to be outdoors, that's one you might want to consider.
And you get extra credit if you apply.
Let's move on to the public portion of our meeting. Township Clerk, Ms. Lawful, will you please read our public comment statement?
The public comment portion of our meeting is to allow the public to bring to the council's attention their concerns or comments in accordance with NJSA 10:4-12A and the rules and the East Brunswick Rules of Council. The council asks the public to limit their comments to 5 minutes or less. At the conclusion of the statements or questions from a member of the public, the council president, at his discretion, may choose to respond, not respond, or ask the administration to respond.
Thank you. Is there anyone from the public wishing to address the chair? I'm sure there's one or two Rutgers University students. Just give us your name and your address for the
Hello,
record.
council members and mayor. My name's Timothy Palmer. I'm from Marlborough, New Jersey, and I attend Rutgers University. I just had one concern for you guys today. If you just give me one moment. Okay. I know you mentioned it briefly before, but I just wanted to ask, when a private company has a Christmas lights display or fireworks, are they required to have insurance?
It's paramount that they have insurance. So we begin the process by making sure that they have insurance because of the possibility of problems. So
Of course.
No matter what it is, anyone who comes before us, whether it's construction work or it's going to be lighting off fireworks, insurance and proof of it.
Thank you so much. Would you be able to share a little bit of kind of like the vetting process for authorizing these companies to put on these displays? Like, are you able to
I'd make it
disclose
brief,
a
Mr.
little bit?
Criscuolo or Mr.?
I'll make it definitely briefer than Mr. Criscuolo.
Yes.
Right.
We all know that. So the ordinance requires forms to be filed with the clerk's office and an application be made. And in that application, the owners of the company, responsible parties, proof of insurance, a deposit has to be given to pay for any damage that might be made. And then they also have to comply with the fire districts and the police department's requirements with regard to having a fire truck there and police officers, if it's at an event, police officers for crowd control. And then once the clerk is satisfied, it then gets forwarded to the council for action.
Awesome, thank you
And
so
there's
much.
still conversations sometimes that take place to restrict and limit that because fireworks can be hazardous.
Of course. Thank you so much.
Anyone else wishing to address the chair, please?
My name is Dylan. I am from Middletown, New Jersey.
Dylan, what's your last name?
Oriundo, O-R-I-U-N-D-O.
Thank you.
So what are some of the ways the town will protect those protesting the issues that's ongoing in the Middle East to ensure security of people, businesses, and if there are protests going on?
With regard to the Middle East situation, that is an international crisis situation that is not going to be entertained here as a question.
I see, I got it.
Anyone else wishing to address the chair?
Hi, my name is Bijal Patel. I'm from Parsippany, New Jersey. My question is, how do you approach how to budget for the town's services and programs? And more importantly, how do you use the town's budget to prioritize certain funds?
Mayor Cohen, you ready for that one? Sure. So just so you know, traditionally, this is not a question and answer, just so you, the Rutgers students know. We do not entertain a conversation that goes back and forth. It is a way in which residents can make a statement, of which we take it into consideration. However, with the students being here, and I'm sure we have some adults in the back, they don't mind waiting a few more minutes before the students. Budget,
Sure.
monster issue.
Try to answer that in a very short period of time that gives you a capsule of how that works. You'll probably be a little bit disappointed, but budget is actually statutory in how it's done. So there's a lot of things that the state puts in terms of the process we have to follow that has to be consistent from one municipality to another. So I'm sure the process they do in Parsippany, which is where I grew up, by the way. Do you go to the Hills or regular?
Yeah, Hills.
Hills,
I
there
went to
you
the
go.
Hills.
So the process is something that we must follow. So what's discretionary is really a much smaller portion of the budget. So things such as the vast majority of our budget is primarily salaries and benefits, insurance, and all of these type of pension. These are major items. The discretionary portion of the budget is what we often spend a lot of time trying to discuss in terms of what extra services we want to provide. And it's a constant balance from one municipality to another to figure out how to control the amount of taxes. People don't want to be overcharged in taxes, and yet provide all the services that everybody in town wants. And that's always a struggle each year that we have to go through. But the vast majority of that budget, in terms of how money should be spent, is already determined by a process that the state sets for us and we need to follow. And then the remainder of that gets filled in with discretionary funds each year, and that's generally the subject of much of our discussions. And then at the end of the year, at the end of that process, a budget is adopted and tax bills go out to the town.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else wishing to address the chair?
Good evening, all. My name is Daniela Valverde. I'm from Linden, New Jersey. I saw that on the agenda, there's a resolution from the Department of Law and Public Safety. I know that a big issue that I read up before coming here was that there's a lot of traffic safety concerns. I was wondering how the council plans on addressing those concerns with the allocated funds.
So you're really looking at those particular funds?
Yes, those particular
And that was
funds.
when we had our most recent meeting. It was wonderful news when we see those numbers that are coming into East Brunswick. Mr. Criscuolo, can you address that one?
Sure. I believe you're looking at Resolution 302.
Yes.
One is the Drunk Driving Enforcement Fund. As you know, we got Route 18 and the New Jersey Turnpike running through East Brunswick. So we get funds to do drunk driving details to get drunk drivers off the road. We are actually like the second highest community in which we arrest drunk drivers or driving under the influence. So this helps us with this. Towns like Edison and Woodbridge, which are larger, one of them is number one and we're number two. We take this very seriously. So what we're doing is getting money from the state, the Attorney General's office, to sponsor that program because it's important to them and it's important to us. So one of the resolutions is describing it. The second resolution you see on the agenda, the 3303, part of municipal finance law, is once you pass your budget, if you want to use that money in the current year, you have to do what is known as a Chapter 159 and insert it into the budget. So you can get money in, but if you want to use it, you got to insert it into the budget. That's basically what it is. So we also receive grants for substance abuse counseling to avoid people from getting hooked on drugs and so on and so forth.
And then another, before you leave, another part of the solution is having a department such as Mr. Crisculo's as well as Ms. Lawful, who can fill out the application for the grants that can become very comprehensive and tricky at times so that we do get the money. It just doesn't drop out of the sky and come to East Brunswick. Very good question.
Perfect. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to address the chair?
Hi, my name is Benny Wren, and I come from Dumont, New Jersey. I have a question. Resolution 308 is awarding a contract for snow removal services. I just want to know how much the township has budgeted for the snow removal this year.
Again, Mr. Crisculo, you have a quick number on that?
We basically budget somewhere from $480,000 to $500,000 a year for snow removal, depending on how lucky we are, how much snow we get. If you're interested, we'll give you a shovel, we can hire you. And probably a second part of your question is how much have we spent to date of that money? Basically about $40,000. We had I don't want to jinx us, I hate to say, we had a light snow season last year. Some of the money that's left over, if you do the math, we got $435,000 left in that. If we don't utilize that money, we either put the money in the snow reserve, so sometimes we save up, you ever heard that saying, save up for a rainy day? We're saving up for a snowy year, and then some of that other money will go into surplus, and sometimes we use that funds to buy additional plows, various other equipment to handle snow removal. But that's how much we budget, and that's how much we utilize.
Okay, thank you.
You're quite welcome.
Please. Go ahead, University.
Hi, my name is Jordan Cantor, go to Rutgers. And Resolution 293 talks about appointing Genesis Ramos as a crossing guard in the Township of East Brunswick. I was wondering how the whole process works with appointing a crossing guard. Do certain people get selected? How does the entire process work?
Well, it's a full-time job.
Okay.
And so
It's actually a part-time job. So crossing guards are part-time.
Okay, so some are full, some are part, most are part. You still have to wait till there's an application posted on our homepage. Application process, just like any other job. And the township is in charge of crossing guards versus the Board of Education, so they are our responsibility with regard to a budget and dollars and cents.
Understood. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And additionally, those who work in the public safety department, because crossing guards are under the public safety department, our police, and all of those people need to go through background checks before they get appointed. And as opposed to most other jobs, those jobs are brought to the council for their approval. So you might not see that in other departments, but in public safety, because of that extensive background check, ultimately, it is the council that has to vote on those appointments.
And yearly, as required by law, is a hearing and a vision test. So as required, even when every year they get appointed, next year we generally do like 30 at one particular time because they're appointed yearly. This is just somebody that may have retired, we're backfilling, but they also get a physical, hearing test, sight test, just to make sure they can protect themselves and the children.
Right.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Tom, you graduated a long time ago.
Tom Ingrasani, Deerfield Road. I'd just like to know, will we be receiving flyers about when the leaf pickup is coming out? I hadn't, because I don't know when it is or will be.
Mr. Crisculo.
Sure. What we will do is when we're at that point in time when we see enough leaves to warrant both collections, either bagged leaves or loose leaves this year, we will post on our website, EBTV. We'll do Civic Ready to get it out to everybody so everybody will know when we're going to start that process. We don't generally, or in years past, they put out a schedule and the leaves didn't fall yet. So we're taking a different approach to the fact that, hey, when we have a mass falling of leaves, and when we're prepared to do that, we'll get the information out. Like I said, on the website, EBTV, we'll do a Civic Ready to get out to people. That is the notification system that we utilize. If you're not registered for that, go online to the police department and register for Civic Ready alerts, and then you'll get a text that says, hey, we're going to start collecting leaves. You hit the URL, and it goes out, and it gives you a whole calendar of when we're going to be collecting things.
Okay, and when will the garbage pickup, the new ones, start? And who's going to deliver the pails, or do we have to pick them up? My neighbor's been asking me also.
They'll start on January 1st.
January 1, Tom.
What about the pails? How do we get them?
The pails, we probably won't get the pails until later on in the spring, but they will be delivered to your house.
Okay.
And we'll be collecting the old cans at that particular time.
So we use what we got now and they'll pick it up?
Use what you got now, and then we'll let you know section by section of the towns when they're going to be delivered.
Okay, my neighbor's been asking me and just was going to be...
Well, thank you for telling me.
Thank you.
And again, go ahead. Please.
Hello, Council. Firstly, happy birthday, Ms. Township Clerk. My question's addressed...
Your name and address, please?
Oh, I'm so sorry. My name is Prakatihime. I'm from Edison Township.
Okay.
My question is more so stemming from like the drunk driving thing you mentioned earlier, and now like the pail stuff. How are you grading like how are you evaluating like the effectiveness of some of the policies and like programs you're like pushing towards in this council?
Mr. Baker, our attorney.
Mr. Crisculo, our business administrator.
Purely, the state looks at the number of driving under the influence, which is not necessarily drunk driving. We'll use a term driving under the influence, which may be of any substance, any drug. Even though marijuana is a little bit legal now, you can't drive while under the influence. So they look at the number of arrests, and then naturally the number of convictions. So some of these cases take a long time to adjudicate here in the courtroom. Some people come in and they plead guilty right away because they're really drunk or whatever. Some of them will fight it because it's their second or third offense. So every time they come in, their fine is larger and their insurance is larger and so on. So actually, this is great questions that you're asking. Because it should scare you never to drive under the influence. If you get caught, it's very, very expensive. I've seen where people have to get the breathalyzer unit installed in their car in order to turn it on. And that's an expense in its own. So we measure it several ways. How safe the roads are, how many arrests are made, how many convictions, and then we have some other programs that go on after that the judicial systems utilize, that the police are involved with the courts, kind of like a Blue Cares program to help people that have substance abuse problems. So we help them out get off of that.
With the safety of the roads thing, how are you exactly like evaluating, like this is a road, I'm sure you have like people patrolling or something, or?
Yeah, but I can't tell you where.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's fair. We're just making sure. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
So the bottom line, we have more? It's okay, please.
Hi, I'm Sonny Conley from Florham Park, New Jersey.
Okay.
I also had a question about driving under the influence. I was looking into it, and I was wondering if you think that the hiring of more police officers and random stops, additional to if they are stopping someone for a reason, if that could be more effective to having less drunk drivers?
I don't think that is in practice what goes on here in East Brunswick. I don't think we would hire additional police officers just for DWI situations. We don't set up the random drive-throughs anymore. It's simply erratic driving that causes the police officer to to pull you over, so it's a very fair operation. The bottom line, don't drink and drive. Case closed.
Got it. Thank you.
Anyone else? So what you've seen so far, students from Rutgers University, is a lot of the information that goes on in the daily operations of the community comes through Mr. Crisculo's office. What happens with the town council up here is, on Thursday, I meet with Mr. Crisculo and the mayor. We review the agenda that you all have in your possession. The town council gets the agenda on Friday morning, and then they go over it. Then the phones begin to work, whether it's me calling Mr. Baker. I'm known as Kevin, the 11 o'clock guy, because I tend to call Mr. Baker at 11 a.m. on Monday mornings. Inevitably, I'm calling him to get clarification, just like you asked the questions this evening. And the same thing with my colleagues up here. Oftentimes, we call the mayor directly as well, and he has a separate phone number that's linked just to us so that he can take the call. Because as I'm sure you're aware, Mayor Cohn is Dr. Cohn, and he's a medical doctor, and so therefore his responsibilities within the professional world are extremely intense with regard to the Monday to Friday work. So we know exactly when to call Dr. Cohn so that we can chat about an issue. And it's never ending. The issues are just constant, and that's why you have chose to take the class with Mr. White, and that's why he sent you down here, and we're glad to see you. Anyone from the...
One addition.
Oh, you're going to make this brief, right?
Yeah. The students to know, there's a specialist in the police departments called the DRE. A DRE is a drug recognition expert. So if, the breathalyzer works for alcohol, but under the influence of narcotics or anything, they have to call out a special officer called the DRE. Okay, so you might want to research that a little to understand that whole process as well, because it's not as clear as alcohol.
And do we have any residents in the town who wish to address the chair? Seeing none, we'll close the public portion. Next up would be the consent agenda. As per Mr. Baker, we have separated Resolution 301. Does anyone have any further separations?
301 was removed.
Removed.
Been removed, I beg your pardon.
Council President, if I have a question, can I
Yes.
ask that now, or?
Sure.
Okay.
Let me just go through the motions. Let's get the motion
Okay.
for resolutions 23-293 through 23-300, and then again, resolution,
302?
help me out here, 302 through 309. Do I have a motion? Second?
Second.
Discussion.
So quick question on Resolution 23-308. We're looking at our snow removal, worried about what you hear in the news for potential heavy snow this year. But I was curious in looking at the bids. Mr. Crisculo, can you explain the difference between the straight cost and premium cost? I'm assuming it has to do with time
Yes.
of day, but I was just curious on that one.
Yes, let me just get to that resolution.
While Mr. Crisculo is doing that, the consent agenda is resolutions that really don't need lengthy discussion. It's stuff that we have called up, Mr. Crisculo or called up the mayor to get clarification on so that we can move this. Don't think that we're not paying close attention to the resolutions 293 through 309. It's just a format in which we just don't have to go through a lengthy discussion on each item.
Okay, so what the Department of Public Works does in their bids is they classify the type of vehicle that they need in different areas of town. As you can see, some places we need a backhoe, which means we're scooping out snow, or a loader to lift up snow and drop it somewhere. And some of them are just straight snowplows put onto a F-150, 250, 350 onto one of our big dump trucks or whatever. So when we go out to bid, we ask them for straight costs. Premium cost naturally is after hours and naturally weekends, holidays too, because a lot of times the snow doesn't realize that we're off on January 1st, and it still snows. So in order to get them to come out, you could see there also where there are some companies that just don't bid on certain type of operations, where they just don't have the equipment, nor do they want to come out with that. So you could see where the Class C truck or the skid steer, we don't have numbers from a couple of firms where BlackRock Enterprises does. So we put this out to public bid. These are the 3 companies that responded, and we know BlackRock Enterprises and Lucas because they do a lot of road paving for us in town. So we know they have the equipment, we know they have the insurance. They've actually worked with us for many, many other years. And Bales is right here on Cranberry Road. They have the larger trucks where they're going to be doing, actual dump trucks and stuff like that clean the roads. So based upon the amount of snow, the DPW director will call in pieces of products of the type of trucks that he needs to take care of the town. Naturally, if it's not heavy snow, we don't need a backhoe or a loader. We just don't need that. When it's deep and we got to move snow to put it in a parking lot or build a mountain, then we call in that equipment, and we leave that up to the discretion of the public safety, public works director, and actually in conjunction with the police. They're out on the road all the time when it's time to pull a pin and bring people in various sections of the town.
So it's good that at least one of the companies, their premium and straight time was almost identical.
Yes.
So that's very reassuring for the township to see that.
Yeah, a lot of the paving companies, they're happy in the winter to have work.
Yeah.
And their crews are happy, they're working, and they're utilizing their equipment. It's good to exercise equipment.
Township Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilman Bahal?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
Council President McAvoy?
Yes. We do not have any ordinances for introduction, and therefore no hearing dates. For the good of the cause.
Council President.
Please.
Thank you. I just have an announcement. United Daisies of New Jersey Corporation is hosting Diwali Festival on November 4th at Community Arts Center from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. Please join them to celebrate Festival of Light and to enjoy Bollywood songs and kids' dance performances and some kids' craft activities. That's all. Thank you.
At the Community Arts Center.
Community Arts Center.
And Councilwoman Winston?
Thank you, Council President. I just wanted to give a public shout out to the board of the East Brunswick Arts Coalition for putting together yet another fantastic annual Harvest Fest in our historic district. They worked extremely hard for many, many months in advance, and they put on a very successful, wonderfully diverse event in our historic district, which is becoming a destination for our township, and it's wonderful that they've done that, and they've done it yet again. And another thing just to mention, I did see a play at Playhouse 22 this weekend called The Toxic Avenger. I urge everyone, they still have a few shows coming up. It is delightful. This is not a forum to keep going on about being a show critic, but it was a great escape. It was just what the world needs right now. And if you do buy tickets and go attend the show, you are supporting the arts in East Brunswick, and it's also another entity in this town that is a destination for the arts. If you're looking for tickets, you can go to playhouse22.org. And that's it.
May I have a motion to adjourn? So moved. Second? All those in favor say aye. Aye. The ayes have it. Good night.